and he stopped me. It was just like, you're not buying a boat. Not right now. Not unless you're taking out a loan. Not unless you're doing this,
Not
and
unless
this.
you die 6 times.
Not And when it's the person who also oversees your life insurance policy and how much your death certificate is actually worth, it's a little alarming. So if you guys killed me, you could probably get the official SS
So we had a gang.
Belligerent Beavs.
Oh, maybe
If you made it look like an accident, though.
if it's under the LLC, then yeah.
Hey, didn't see you there, listener. Hi, welcome to the 178th episode. We're not talking about life insurance fraud or anything like that. Definitely not any kind of money laundering. No,
we are getting to that age though where we might just on a whim buy a boat.
We are.
Oh,
We
I
are
was saying
sports
die.
car. We
I
are.
was like, no.
Well, there's that too, but I like the first thing Ben said better.
Just come home and explain to your wife. So about the savings account. It's a boat now.
It's a boat. Yeah, it's still around. It just I mixed it all together, and now it's a
adventure.
boat. Yeah. I think when I do turn 40, I probably will just buy a boat. It might not be a very nice boat. It might not even be a functioning boat.
Terry's dinghy.
Terry's dinghy. Oh, that's perfect.
Don't name it that.
And then I will sail it.
It reminds me of the raft we wanted to make in Corvallis. Do you guys remember the raft? We were going to make a raft
out of Pat Casey's tent.
No, that one probably could have been.
I remember
included.
tying or getting the air mattresses that had the like plastic loops on the end so you could tie them together and floating them down the Willamette River. But if you mean anything else, that's the most closest thing to a raft that I can recall.
Maybe it was me and super secret producer Skinner. We had a master plan. We were going to build like a true raft. Like we were looking online. Nowadays you can find whatever you want online, but back then it was like, how do I find a bunch of 15-gallon barrel things?
Were you guys watching season 2 of Lost as this was happening?
Maybe. But we wanted to sail it up the Willamette, down the Columbia, down the Pacific,
Jesus,
through the Golden Gate and into McCovey Cove. For a Giants game.
I remember this conversation. I do remember that.
It wasn't just one. We talked about this for years. Having like a mini barge and just sailing our way to Euphoria.
You would have to go up the Willamette and then down the Columbia.
Yeah.
And then into the Pacific.
Yeah.
And just sail it.
That was all part of the plan.
Benny, are you looking up these things right now? Is that what that typing is?
Click.
Volume's a little high. That's a good thing. I will do something about that right now. But we never did it. We went to McCovey Cove on kayaks that we rented.
That was so fun. Not
in Corvallis, but nearby in the bay.
Yeah,
basically.
Yeah, same.
We're
coast.
almost there. Guys. Just like our programs.
I'm glad we didn't go to Vegas 2 weeks later or a week later, a week and a half later.
Why?
Wait, well, I don't know if you guys saw
what happened.
The game.
Did anyone?
We lost to a directional school.
Buffalo. We lost.
Not even a directional school. It's a directional school without an actual direction.
It's the direction you say when there is no direction.
Yeah, it's like central area.
It doesn't actually mean anything.
Here, Florida University. It's just here.
Here, Florida. Middle.
Somewhere around here.
Central Florida. Middle Tennessee State.
It is by Orlando. Orlando.
It's in Orlando, I believe. So
it's
good.
In Orlando.
It's at
Shout out Disney.
It's at Disneyland.
World.
It just is Disney. No,
yeah,
Disney World.
Disney World.
Sorry.
Yeah. A real Disney head would know.
Yeah.
A real.
And
Mickey
I'm not even
Mouse
a real
ears.
Disney head.
True. No, you're not a fucking Disney head, bro. I love Beauty and the
love
Beast.
Disney World.
I love Disney World growing up. I don't think I've been since I was 12, but
I've never been to Disney World.
Disney World as an adult.
Oh no, I have.
Really fun.
Went last year of college.
You went to Disney World as an adult?
Bodie and I went because Pi Cap Supreme chapter was there.
I just went by myself. People gave me looks. It was whatever. Just a middle-aged man.
Said, I'm looking for my lost daughter.
Yeah, don't mind me on the back.
Yeah,
I think she's on Splash Mountain. That's why I keep going down it and getting back in line. I think my daughter is somewhere in Splash Mountain. That's why I've ridden it 100 times.
It's the closest thing to a zip line.
It's the closest thing to a zip line. Dude, there's a brewery here next weekend or maybe 2 weekends from now where it's like
called zip line
in a mini valley or whatever, but they're setting up a zip line where you can get
core
on
of the valley
zip line at some old warehouse and you can ride the zip line into their beer garden.
Are they gonna have a pool there?
They're not gonna have
or just like
it's not when you drop
splash
off
down into the pool.
There is a creek nearby, so you could
it would be cool if you could learn how to drop off like on the run and just like detach, and then like as you're approaching the bar, like it zips you in, you get your footing, and then it detaches, and you just
then somehow it tilts
right
back the other way, so you can take the zip line back the way you came from. But that's not really how gravity works. You'd have to tilt some kind of axis. If any physics professors listen to this show, please let us know.
I think they do.
If Linus Pauling listens to the show, for sure.
Big fan of the show.
Yeah, a big fan of Linus. We're big fans.
We're Linus heads.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, Linus heads.
I like Linus heads.
Yeah, one of the true underrated characters.
We need new merch
of the Peanuts.
True.
Well, yeah.
Is he named after Linus Pauling?
Or is Linus Pauling named after Linus, Charlie Brown's friend?
No, that would be way different.
That cartoon is like 400 years old. It could be.
I wonder if Linus Pauling and whoever Pauling was named after went to school.
Yeah, it was really there was a
fight all the time.
They probably did. It was like, you have to change your name. I get the library. I get the cool area in the library naming rights because I have 2 Nobel Prizes. You get the shittiest dorm, and that's how it happened.
That
was a negotiation. Those were the only 2 buildings on campus at the time.
Toughened you up.
Yeah.
Pauling.
Yeah.
Toughened you up.
Was that the dorm?
I wouldn't be the person I am today without Pauling.
I thought you were in Holly.
Well, no, I was in Holly. Penny was in Poland. He had silly string for a ceiling, and it was literally just probably kids leftover silly string from years prior.
Sounds about right.
Or asbestos.
We were room 503.
That's a
You were room 503.
I think I was 314.
How did you get that?
I told them how much I love Portland.
Benny,
we have the
Benny showed up.
Have you seen my
super grungy?
He just looked like himself, and they're like, "Well, this is clearly the most Portland kid who has ever gone to school here," which is a pretty high bar to cross. And yeah, you could have room 503. We're actually changing the room number to every other 5th floor room and every other building, so that this is the only 503.
That's right.
Yeah. It's 502.5 everywhere else.
And they put skins in 971 as an insult. The fake Portland area code.
The cell phone room.
Wait, Terry, you were in 314 Holly?
No, McNary. That was in the nerdy kids dorm. I don't know how I ended up there.
It's so far.
So far away.
It
was far away. We had
the dorm was trash.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad. We had the McNary Hall
complex was really bad.
The weird little overhang that
wasn't Bloss and Finley
over the
polling bad.
Was it Bloss? There is like Finley. Finley sucked. I stayed at Finley during start.
Yeah, start.
I forgot about start.
No, Bloss and Finley. Where Halsell was the one right next to Bloss and Finley that was like new and modern.
Halsell
and nice.
Was like a complex.
I think Halsell was like.
I don't even know
I think Halsell was just for like you had to be in grad school or something. It was like seniors or grad school.
That's why I didn't know about Halsell.
No, you didn't.
I thought it was something like that.
There were. I knew undergrads in Halsell, but it was literally like a.
Well, like a cost.
It gave me vibes of like. Yeah, maybe, but it gave me vibes of like a youth center that was also an apartment. Like the furniture was kind of like that, the open weird spaces. But it was definitely more roomy and private than every dorm.
Boring.
Boston Finley had, they had their semi-private bathrooms. That was what they had going for them.
Honestly, the worst part about McNary, Callahan, and I can't remember the third one in that triplex. Wilson, that's correct.
My sister was in Wilson.
There was a canopy over like the entire sidewalk that led out of there. So that was like, when it's raining, you can get pretty much all the way to Kerr admissions without getting dumped on, but it was so old and so shitty that all the water accumulated and just dumped in random spots like under it without warning. And
worse than the rain that was outside of the canopy.
I think they tore it down at the end of my freshman year or like very early in that summer. But I remember it just made it look even more ratchet. But solid dining hall. Solid dining hall. Not better than West, but also it was like
West was so
people
clutch.
Didn't know about West it. West was always packed. And
Ring of Fire.
Ring of Fire was great.
Chicken teriyaki at Ring of Fire was just
Ring of Fire was absolute money. And then
Calabaloose.
We all had Calabaloose.
We had
McNary Calabaloose.
McNary had its own Calabaloose that always had a short line because people were always at West.
What was
nice about it? EBGBs?
Probably.
No.
What was EBGB?
Well, you did have a little shop there. What was the little shop at?
I think it was just called Bites because there's a Bites in the MU, and then there's another one. I don't know. We had a little shop though. It was Main Squeeze. It was Main Squeeze. They had the smoothies.
What was the cunt?
One that no one talks about when we talk about food halls. The MU. And shout out to the lady who worked at Panda Express. Hardest working person I've ever seen.
Do you remember when?
But you're right. You couldn't use your dining card.
Well, hold on. You couldn't when we were there. But you had a subset of funds that were allowed to be used at the MU in general.
You could my freshman
or
year,
non-dining halls. Yeah, and then they changed it that it was included. Right. In your dining plan. And I don't know what it is now, to be honest.
They did an article in the Barometer where they interviewed her and she was begging people to order more than just orange chicken. She was like, we work really hard.
You guys remember what the other restaurants were there?
Carl's Jr. and Woodstocks. And there's a Woodstocks and there's a Blimpies in the middle and that turned into like a Pangea.
No, that was different. Pangea had its own like restaurant.
I know, but I think that's the Blimpies turned into a burrito place. Pangea was always there.
And they actually made good quesadillas. I used to go get a quesadilla for lunch there. Yeah.
Blimpie.
I used to go meet my freshman sister and buy her, or she'd buy me lunch there.
Because she had the meal plan and you didn't at that point?
Yeah. Thanks, Mom and Dad.
That Blimpies was the first place I ever ate. And I was like, I think it was the beginning of Start. I was there with my dad. And we like
it smelled terrible at that Blimpies.
I'm not ever thinking about going to another school. This place has Blimpies.
Yep.
Sold.
Buffalo chicken sub that I'm pretty sure gave me food poisoning, but
yeah, that
just had to stick with the teriyaki from Ring of Fire. I had that probably 300.
Oh, you know what? I used to go was what was the Mexican food spot at West? El Serrano? What was it called?
Yeah.
That place also had good food.
They did. It wasn't El Serrano. What was it? I'm not going to remember in time. But yeah, that place was good. West didn't have a bad spot.
Yeah, but West didn't miss. I mean, not really. But there was that one like literally like a cafeteria window where it had like sandwiches that were and things, and you're like, it was in the middle. Like it was between
just a lady in a
Calabaloose and Ring of Fire.
Sloppy Joes.
It was like classic.
Yeah, I remember that.
No, I'm skipping this place.
Yeah. Lunch Lady Land is what I always thought of when we walked by there.
Lunch Lady Land. Sloppy Joe, Sloppy Joe, yeah.
This is exactly what every listener and viewer
do you want to talk about men's basketball instead? Should we talk about a tournament
or men's baseball?
May not even exist?
I guess it's only men's baseball.
Right. Baseball, so I'm not freaked out about baseball. I'm lightly annoyed that they didn't sweep a Big Ten school, but that's fine.
Well, I'm annoyed because I'll get this. I get a text from my wife's cousin's husband who has a Cornhuskers podcast. He's from Nebraska.
Oh, that's right.
He is
talking shit.
He talks shit after game one. And what did he say? I'm pulling up now. He said, in case you missed it after they won 7-3. And I was like,
Husker
I
fans,
actually did. I was busy.
They have that reputation.
He goes, well, I didn't realize we actually played a whole series all weekend. Like, I thought it was just like part of some like preseason tournament or swing.
It's not preseason anymore.
Bro, it's April.
What an astute baseball fan they are in Big Ten country.
Yeah. Anyways, I had to send him, of course, our 10-run rule graphic.
Yeah.
That's the next day.
That's worth 2 wins, basically.
Fault. Yeah. Well, I just sent it with some
Nebraska's
sunglass emoji.
Good.
They are usually pretty good at baseball. And
they're
then
not ranked right now.
Luckily, he didn't say anything about the
grudge match
Sunday game.
The 7th inning.
The rubber match. Should have won a rubber match.
Well, yeah. That was rough. But like you said, JP,
it was rubber.
But it's baseball, so that shit happens.
At this point in the season, we can't just say it's baseball. If this is 6 weeks from now, we can freak out. But today, we're literally recording this on April 1st, and I can't believe we didn't come up with a choreographed April Fool's bit. But
thank you for not.
Our best one was when we even April Fools the Portland Pickles.
Right. Deal with it.
And they thought we were turning. They thought we were turning in. Deal with it. Yeah.
We still might do that if things keep going poorly with this whole college sports thing.
Yeah, we're becoming the Belligerent Pickles.
Hey, their lineup for themed nights.
It's fire.
They came out with it recently.
They're doing such a good job.
Good as usual.
Right.
I don't know many minor league baseball teams theme nights.
Well, that minor league,
top of my head,
but yeah.
But dude, the Pickles
get
whoever
it.
Runs that department,
they get it.
Yeah, they get it.
They get it
for
sure.
Well,
the number one thing that they get, which is so surprising, that like other. I mean, look, let's apply this to
fun is good.
Oregon State football. Yeah, you have 6 home games. Why isn't every single one not themed for the most maximum amount of fun?
Oh my God, yes.
I'm pretty sure every single Pickles home game has a theme.
Themed. It is. All of them are themed.
And it can be ridiculous or it can be legitimate.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. They have a
They have a
beasting
420.
Survivor night.
Yeah.
Like just you can reach deep in the bag and find something.
Just to do like nice night.
Anything.
As simple as that.
Yeah. That and I am all in on just making every single night or game an event, because what do you have to lose? That you did nothing and then people came and they were like, it was just like a regular old game and we either won or lost, but I enjoyed myself because I loved the nachos. Like, no, like you have a limited supply of opportunity. Do something big each time, even if it's ridiculous.
Dude, that is an incredible idea. And that would like every other college football team would start doing that. That's such a good idea.
Can we ask the Pickles?
It wouldn't be very hard.
On July 2nd, can we ask the Pickles if we can have a spot in the stadium, maybe borrow a little bit of equipment, probably not much. We probably have everything we need, but just to record a live show from the start of the game through the end of the game in honor of Delusion Night, because we're always so delusional, according to our listeners.
Yeah,
I think we should just. We can talk about whatever delusional shit we want to, and maybe we'll comment on the game, and then we'll publish the 3-hour podcast episode wherever. Delusion Night.
Okay,
can we be a part of it?
Yes.
Come on.
I might be out of town July 2nd.
Damn it!
Sorry, you guys go do it though. I know.
I'll
be back like July 7th or something. There's plenty of opportunity.
What would you say if you are the director of game day activities or festivities or whatever the title is at Oregon State? Is it?
She might be.
Okay, so if you're Bree and you're coming up with one theme night, what is that theme night?
I don't know,
because you could do decade. Night. Okay, you could do 80s night. Okay,
or you could do
Bree's assistant AD marketing and fan engagement. I think she's kind of mostly stepped into the role that Sarah had moved.
You could do
beyond.
60s night too and tie in the 60s giant killers if you had to make it more Oregon State coded, because minor league baseball,
Sure.
like we need to take baby steps towards this. But
no, we don't. Go in head first.
Okay, we don't.
Wait, baby steps gives you.
Oregon State will take baby steps towards this.
No, baby steps gives you an out because you can feel the feedback instead of just enforcing what your purpose is, right? So if you're gonna go in there and go, we're trying to do something, let us know what you think, and so, you're just gonna hear backlash. If you go, fuck all y'all, we're doing all these theme nights, you can come have fun. You're already too deep.
June 8th, you're already there. June 8th for the Pickles is Pac-12 Resurrection Night.
Yeah, we should go to that. I should talk to them. Yeah. I can do that one. I could.
That's a thing Oregon State could do too. To be like, hey, fuck you, the Pac-12 is still here.
I'm sure that there will be representation.
They should have every game. Fuck you, we're still alive night.
Let's just make our podcast that every first episode of the month is a fuck you, we're still alive night.
Sure.
We should theme.
Do something with like 19.
We only have so many episodes, guys. We need to theme every single one of them.
They could have, you know how like sometimes like organizers will have like a FK that's in like part of a thing that's way too much that any Beaver fan wants to run on a game day. But there could be like, okay, in honor of the 19 consecutive times Oregon State ran the ball against Oregon. to complete the most miraculous comeback in college football history. Just keep owning shit like that because, like you said, there's nothing to lose at this point.
Just call it marathon night.
Right.
That's sponsored by the Marathon with $2.75 mini pitchers.
Free. We are right here.
We're right here.
Yeah.
Power.
We will form a committee.
There could be like a functioning like power hour game, like with the game. There's some sound that is occurring every minute on the minute for people to play power hour along with at Reeser because the fans at Reeser are never drunk enough.
You know what?
It should be like subsonic though, that shocks your collar that you have to wear.
Everyone has to have a collar
night.
put on the second they walk through the stadium doors.
Well, only if you're playing.
You know what goes hard in Corvallis? I do not partake in country music things typically, but doing like a country or Western Wednesday, even if it's not on a Wednesday.
I think that's the one day of the week there has never been a college football game.
But that sort of vibe, you could do that.
Sure.
You could do keep Corvallis weird.
Get Morgan Wallen. He loves being in God's country.
Well, that's true, but he's not welcome to our God's country if he doesn't.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just,
being on Saturday Night Live.
Yeah. How can you not like being on SNL? Great show. Also gets you a lot of viewers.
Right.
Yeah. Don't look so upset about it.
Like we said when we were talking, like, make a deal with every devil you can.
You have seen SNL before you went on the show, is all I'm trying to say. But
Morgan.
SNL,
right to you, Morgan. I know you're watching.
Night. They could do it for an L night.
They could do an SNL night. Every night should be themed. But you gotta retain the veterans.
Live from Corvallis. It's Saturday night.
You could do a West Side night where all they play is Tupac. Well, okay. I know where you're. Yeah. Maybe not.
I don't know if I trust the young kids to not appropriate things.
Yeah. I was thinking they just play Tupac and Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg and the gang. You could do a Bay Area night.
Yeah, or you just do like a
hyphy movement.
Hyphy movement night. Yeah. I do it every night like I do.
Irish Appreciation Night. We were doing this when we were in college.
Yeah,
that's
not appropriating at all because we are Irish.
Irish Appreciation Night is a very low risk one, and you're also anyone's allowed to appropriate Irishness.
But you have to wear green. You would have to wear green.
Not if
it depends what part of Ireland you're from.
The orange part of the flag. Even though
Northern Ireland Appreciation Night.
The orange part of the flag is also problematic, but
yeah,
it's in your hair. not on your clothes.
But you know what? The Portland Pickles didn't get to where they're at by not being problematic.
Yeah.
OnlyFans night.
You could have a OnlyFans night. I'll go to that one. I mean, I want to go to all games, but yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah,
dude, this is a
solve
good.
This problem.
I know we have to move on, but
like we said,
this is
there's
such a good
nothing
idea.
Positive to talk about. We don't.
It should be a party. That's what you need to lean into. That's what you need to lean into. Is with the state of disarray, it needs to be a party. It
needs to be loose. Game. It needs to be fun, and you need to come up with reasons like for people to be there.
That Beaver baseball or softball needs to become like the Savannah Bananas. Like we're just saying, like make it an event. Not be. I think baseball, softball, most sports have it a lot harder because there's so many home games.
But
football has it like.
Make it so that people will come even if the team sucks. Like that's where their head should be at. Is we want to make
because then when they're good, it's even better.
Whole ass Netflix documentary.
Like you raise the floor.
Second chances you raise the floor. About literally this.
The floor is on fire. This is the inverse of whatever. Let the motherfucker burn. Yeah. But the floor should be on fire. We should be raising the floor. Ooh. Yeah. Or pushing the floor down. I feel like this is just pushing the floor down, and this is raising the roof. This is pushing it down.
Yeah.
If you're looking at us on YouTube, you're seeing me doing like jazzercise.
Didn't LeBron James do that?
I don't know what he's doing.
Honestly,
I always felt that was weird. He looked like a chicken doing that. He still looks like a chicken.
Look like a chicken.
Yeah.
Could have chicken night.
Chicken night. Yeah. Yeah. Or how about you can do things that are really Oregon State related, like hole in a cow's side night. Just go nuts with it. You remember the cow? A hole.
You could have extraterrestrial night.
Wait, the cow that had the hole in its stomach that you could reach into? This was like an ag sciences class. You guys don't remember this?
No.
Did you take an egg science class?
A live cow?
I don't know if I took one but I did do it. I don't know how I did it. I did it with somebody else's class or I don't know. But either way, it was a cow over across the street of 20 and they lived for 13, 15 years with a hole that was medically cut out of their abdomen so that you could feel the digestive process of a cow. And you could reach inside them while they were eating and living and feel their stomach.
I think this has been awesome. This is the first of the ideas that I'm passing on, but I do like where your head's at.
Well, I'm not
Alien night.
Give me a woolly mammoth night. Come on. It's something low hanging.
Caveman night.
Yeah.
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 Ghost and ghouls night. Or that would just be Halloween.
Well, JP had this point probably a couple of seasons ago, but maybe every season is we should fight for a home game Halloween weekend every year.
Oh
and every year make that a thing. That's where this can start, and then you own Halloween, and you make it a thing.
No, you can't start at one. You got to go all of them, or people go. Oh, I see where you're going for this. I don't like it.
To remember what university we attended and join me on planet Earth.
I'm just saying. I'm not saying it's realistic, but if you go slowly, it will fail.
Yeah, if you go slowly, you'll just stop.
Because you'll hear feedback on one night, and people are like, "Why are you doing this? I like the other 5 games better." But if
my Oregon cousins call us minor league already, and now we're acting like a minor league baseball team, and my family reunions are even sadder. Shut up. We don't care.
The thing is, if you make every night themed, then really no night is themed, and that's the point. If you don't want to partake,
that's how you triple stamp and double stamp.
It's just
Dumb and Dumber night.
You don't have to partake, but every night's got it. But if every night's got it and you want to partake, it's there.
Right.
So it's
man, you guys, this is, I think we're on to something.
This is our
best
really episode
I haven't
ever.
been this excited about an idea that we've had. Thank you, JP, in so long.
See,
I want to pitch this. Listeners, Please help us pitch this idea. Go to your local Oregon State person and demand that we have theme night every game for football season.
Call your local legislator and demand for theme nights at Reser Stadium.
As a tax-paying citizen
my
of the state of Oregon.
My name is Benjamin Lawrence Sebastian Weehage, and I will fight for OnlyFans night at Reser Stadium if it's the last thing I do.
Give me OnlyFans night or give me death.
Well, now that we solved every single problem facing the Oregon State University Athletic Department, do we have anything else?
All college athletics.
All of college athletics, basically.
No, wrap it
there
up.
would be other
You're
schools
welcome,
that
Earth.
would replicate that.
Yeah.
It's like, you know what it's like? It is like Virginia Tech walking out to Sandman, and now other schools have their like entrance songs, and that became a thing, right? Like it would be kind of that sort of road that you would take, if you will. It would be like that, where you would come up with theme nights every night, and then other schools would start doing the same thing. But Oregon State would be the one that started it, and it would make every single game so fun.
Yeah. Even if there's no keeping up with the Joneses, like, why not add an element that is like the fallback? Like,
be more fun about it.
Even if this game doesn't on paper look fun, look at our theme. This will be fun to do.
We have Tulsa coming to town. Well, it's country night at Reser Stadium. So get ready.
Country night would go hard.
Would go so hard.
It would go pretty hard.
I don't like country music at all. But, well, I shouldn't say that. I do like some country music, but
90s country.
But
yeah, I like old Texas country.
If you're trying to get a night going at Reser Stadium, you might need to start with Honky Tonk Night to get people to show up. And I think it would still be pretty lit.
It would
do
be
a Honky Tonk Night.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
What was the bar?
My God, do a 70s night, disco night.
Well, did Cantina have Country Wednesdays or something?
Can't do all decades though.
Western Wednesdays.
Western Wednesdays. That was at Cantina, right?
No, that was at the Peacock.
Western Wednesdays was the Peacock, really?
Was it?
Yes.
Okay.
I went to one to impress my now wife. It worked clearly.
So we have to have a game on Wednesday. And have it be Western Wednesday.
That was the moment where I realized that YouTube was the most valuable learning tool in the history of mankind, because I watched how to do like line dancing on YouTube for like 4 hours
Big
in
and
practice.
Rich music videos, and then Annie was just like, he gets it.
Didn't Big and Rich do like a halftime or post game concert at the end of a football game?
That was Montgomery.
I saw Big and Rich in Arnold, California.
Yeah.
I saw Big and Rich in Arnold, California, and one of them flew in a helicopter, which was cool.
And the other one ran off on a horse.
Well, no, when they did Save a Horse, Ride a Cowboy, it was like my older sister's 30th birthday. We did this, and let's just say that the night ended with my dad swinging his shirt around above his head. So it was a good time.
It works.
Nice.
Save a Horse, Ride a Cowboy was the opening credit theme song to every poker broadcast on ESPN, the like 2.5 years where everyone our age now, or like when like the main part of the poker craze,
Dubstop, baby.
When proud member of Pi Kappa Phi, Chris Moneymaker, won the 2004 World Series of Poker. That song was everywhere, so people would remember it. You need, because especially
do you forget that song?
You got to go after
That's
we started the show off talking about finances aside, the age like 35 to 50 alumni, because that's
the life insurance policies.
That's the age where it's like people are coming into some money now. There's probably a little bit more connection.
Life insurance, pretend they
were murdered. They can fake their own death while it still pays out a lot.
Buy a boat with it.
Buy a boat. And then
donate the rest to Big and Rich, and then come for Honky Tonk Night. In their boats sailing down the Pacific, or down, I guess.
It's
even
the
though
Willamette just a little bit older than us right now.
Up some waterfalls.
We need to have theme episodes to show Oregon State Athletic Department how it's done, that attracts to all of the 40 somethings. So
I'm gonna nix this because that's gonna be a lot of work.
night would be so fun.
I'm gonna nix this because I don't want to do it. Yeah, would emo night be fun? Emo night would be.
It'd be hella emo.
It'd be something. Punk night.
Just Blink 182. That's all I want.
Yeah.
It's just a Blink 182 night.
Give me a Beav 182
Blink
night.
me.
Yeah, call it Beav 182. When all the small things was the fourth quarter sing along, it went pretty hard. Like the crowd
That's
responded.
like their lightest song.
I'm sorry that it can't all be perfect. Sometimes you got to play the hits to get the wider audience.
I know.
Ben.
I do. I will say the
play
song
the
is fine as a song.
Deep cuts. We need deep cut themes only at the 6
We need Adam's song on repeat.
Hey, yeah, play this.
Cheshire Cat.
Play the slow song.
I want Cheshire Cat
the
played
slow
from start to
song
finish.
about suicide. And
But well, I mean, Blink. All the small things is also like it's like a joke song, like almost by design.
Yeah.
yeah, and all of our
like
opponents are a joke.
I like the album.
And we're
Take
gonna
off your
make a
pants
joke
and
out of
jacket.
them.
I had to say that "What's My Age Again" might be the ultimate song, and it's
Oh,
really
yeah,
broken. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
like all around, just nails it. It's just heavy enough, fun enough, real enough.
Real enough.
Look, I
Yeah.
got my Apple Pencil out to check the boxes, man.
Okay.
What sort of music would you call Blink 182, early Green Day?
Alternative rock, probably.
Alternative.
Yeah, alternative.
But it's a specific type of alternative.
It's
Alternative punk.
pop.
Like, yeah, it was like
Alternative.
it was
punk,
kind of like new.
punk night.
It was like new
Ah!
punk.
Yeah.
Yeah, pop punk in a
Pop
way, but
punk.
new pop punk because the pop punk got
Yeah.
really weird later.
Yeah. Man, you guys. Now I'm not going to go to sleep tonight. I'm just going to be thinking of theme nights. that
Write them
Oregon
down.
State could
Write
do.
them down.
Right. I'm
We'll
down.
send
We'll
them
send them to Bree. Who will send them to Scott?
Yeah,
Who will send
And
them
then we'll send
back
them
to
to-
us?
yeah.
Okay, listeners, give us your
Yeah, this is
best
actual fun.
theme night.
Yes.
Yeah.
Send it to @Belligerent
Like
Beavs.
must have. Like
Just
you
tweet
have
it at
you
us.
have a 20% window of nights that are available
Well,
because
and-
there will always be a veterans
Right.
appreciation
how
night or day
like,
game.
Every
So, you
Major
got
League
5
Baseball
more.
team does this on May 4th for May the 4th be with you, a Star Wars night. So that is
I'm
like,
down.
You can think crazily outside of the box like Ben is doing. You can think absolutely in the box like Major League Baseball's line of thinking for the last like 100 years. Or you can think outside of like in another universe like minor league baseball has done. So
He can think
just
outside of the
there's
hexagon
no
like
wrong
the Portland Pickles
answer.
have.
There's no wrong answers here, and there might be a couple wrong answers. But given that gentlemen such as ourselves just suggested like 4 different variations of different country nights, this is a safe space. You can get outside of your comfort zone, suggest a theme that maybe isn't your main interest, but could be an interest of others. Basically, just for everyone to show up to research.
Or it would be fun to just do for a night and even pretend like I don't like this, but it would be fun for one night to have a backup reason to pretend to care.
It doesn't even matter what it was. If you had 40,000 people doing the same theme night, that would be the most epic night.
But you don't have to participate. You just go for the fun of the theme, even if it's just the mascots are doing the theme, the music's the theme. There's, fans going nuts for the theme because it is their theme. Like,
here's
that's all you need.
And I'm not trying to like go
You're there
back
for the
to,
spectacle.
I'm not trying to go back to realistic, but here is one that I would love because I've seen some good Jersey nights that other teams in other sports are doing. And I would love, because we talk about getting him to Corvallis a lot, Chad Johnson Jersey night, where you put a Chad Johnson
that's that
jersey
easy.
on every, it's not like, the first 5,000 fans. No, it's every fan. It's every single person who goes through the doors so that when Chad gets his moment,
Bernice.
do it, and Benny and Bernice, and do it at halftime, not before the game. Do it at like the very beginning of halftime when everyone's still in their seats and still there. And then you bring them out and everyone is in matching jerseys. The black.
That's not
and
a theme
then,
night.
that is a theme. That's the theme.
But that's a thing.
You were
That's
just
a thing
loud.
night.
You were just louding
No.
Portland Pickles fart theme night. If
It's
fart
the
is a theme,
Ocho
Chad
Drinko
Johnson is,
night.
yeah. Everyone.
Yeah, Ocho Cinco
Presented
night.
by McDonald's.
He's there.
Yeah.
He's there.
He'd be there.
It's not just the jersey. It's like it's a celebration.
I
of
get
him.
that. It's a celebration of him.
And he has to go sign everyone's jerseys that are wearing them.
80s night would be the perfect example. You dress.
Well, sure. You go macro, micro. That's what the pickles do.
They need to be
okay.
It needs to be a
Give
range.
us your
That's
best.
the one I'd like to
Give
start
us your
with.
best.
Because it's like the running thing of everyone who has attended since the Fiesta Bowl. What's going to get Chad back to Corvallis? Let's get Chad back to Corvallis.
I want to do floating the river night.
Float the river.
What?
Floating the river night.
That would be a great home opener when it's still summer. It's still hot out.
Show up with your inflatable rafts and your swimsuits and
inflatable coolers will be allowed through the gates with whatever is inside them.
Ooh, pool night. Pool night. Show up in your bathing suit.
That's the same thing.
It is the same thing, kind of.
But there's like one pool.
I'd show up with my pool cue and be like, "Oh, I got the wrong idea."
You billiard fuck.
Okay, no more ideas.
Then we all go
Let's
to
leave that up for the listeners.
All right, I'm gonna go get another beer. We're gonna do a 10-second beer segment when I get back, and then I guess we'll talk about the college basketball crown because we have to.
Isn't there a thing where you like turn your crown upside down, and that's like did you say gilf night?
Yes. That is, I changed my answer to that. Yes, I said golf night. Only women that are 50 years or older can go to the game and
sell out. Absolute sellout. Especially if they know the premise. Okay, well, Terry disappears, but I keep looking at his microphone and I think it's either a dong or I'm having a starburst.
Nice.
Which was not what I was drinking before. I was drinking a
Space dust.
Space dust. It's so confusing. I always want to say stardust and space burst, but
Ziggy Stardust.
Yeah, there you go.
You could have a Ziggy Stardust night.
Yeah. Give me a Bowie night.
Oh man. And pick your Bowie. Which one do you want to be? There's so many different Bowies out there.
There's Beaver Bowie.
Beaver Bowie night.
Yeah.
Man.
We're right here, Bree.
Bree, we're begging you. You don't even need to pay us. But if you did, that would be okay, because my 401k is going down right now.
I think what we have to say is this, like, let's a theme tonight. I know we want to jump headfirst into every game, but let's do one that's just a Belligerent Beavs themed night where we own it, and we'll pick something that is safe and fun.
Right, so not a Belligerent Beavs night, but you give us the keys to the kingdom to let us
take over. Yeah. Oh. And then let us just you don't have to announce it. Just like let us do it.
Let us show you what it can be.
Yeah, with the unexpected being the case. So like the fans will show up not even knowing that it's a certain night, but we'll like theme it so hard they're gonna walk out and go, was that a Beaver Bowie night? They like if we, and then they go, that would be so cool if they did that. And then we get the chatter going. Bree, come on, we've got a plan. We've got a plan, and only like a couple thousand people will be privy to this. Don't worry, because they would have heard the episode. But we could do something real sick.
We could do something so sick. And here's the thing. If it sucks, blame it on us.
Yeah. And if it sucks, no one will even know it's a themed night that we were running it. Or no, they didn't. Just blame it on us.
Yeah.
No one will know. Go, oh, yeah, those Belligerent Beavs idiots. Yeah, they were running the show tonight.
They really fucked this up. We're sorry.
Just like every episode they've done for the last 187 million episodes. What episode is this?
We're still talking about things.
178.
Well,
no.
JP used to be our social chair. JP would kind of be the ideal person to put this together.
I'm telling y'all, I fucking know how to do this.
Yeah. Terry, what are you drinking?
Hams.
Weren't you drinking that earlier?
Yeah, but I got another one.
Nice.
JP,
I'm not drinking anything.
Good. Well, tell us about the Cubs jersey you're wearing.
I am going to a Cubs game right after your wedding, so I got a jersey off eBay. Quick plug. If you're looking for a jersey and don't want to pay $150 for a jersey, eBay is a great place to look. Just want to put that out there. It is a Javier Baez Cubs jersey.
Oh, nice.
I did happen to be in Chicago.
It looks nice.
When they won the World. I was living in Chicago when they won the World Series.
So it's your fault. that they won the World Series.
And Javier Baez was on that team.
He was.
So, yeah. So anyways, yeah, we're going to a Cubs game right after your wedding. They're playing the Rockies. It'll be Yuri's first time in Wrigley, which is exciting. She's a massive baseball fan. Right. So that I'm really excited to take her to Wrigley.
Yeah.
I've been there once and it's
fantastic.
It's great.
Yeah. It's a great time.
Yeah.
Great day at the ballpark. JP's still dark. I don't know what now.
I'm here.
Now he's back and he was frozen with the smiliest face I've ever seen in my life for a second. So that was really lovely.
How did you not get a Darwin Barney jersey?
Yeah, you piece
it was
of
not available
shit.
on eBay. I went onto eBay and got one of the first jerseys I saw. There's a Mark Pryor jersey.
Well, you also said you're going to get a Twins Trevor Larnach jersey for the weekend of my wedding. And also, he's the only one on the Twins playing remotely well right now.
Well, I'm sorry. I got a Herman Killebrew jersey and a Joe Mauer jersey.
You got a Mauer jersey? Okay. Harmon Killebrew.
Did you really get a Herman?
If it says Herman on it, it's not real.
Well, it says Killebrew, but the letters are kind of janky. I think it might be homemade.
Harmon Killebrew is just a great drinking game.
His name is Harmon?
Harmon, yeah.
No wonder you got the homemade jersey. Wrong search query.
No, Terry, I actually did get a Herman Killebrew jersey. He's just an obscure player that you don't know about.
You don't know who he is. He was great, though, Terry.
You know, but he doesn't compute with your novice brain. Typical fair weather fan shit.
Yeah.
No. I love
Have you ever been? Have you ever been to the Metrodome, loser? You know you've been there.
You fake ass fan.
Yeah, go there right now if you're such a real fan.
Yeah. Do you even have your Twins? What do they call it? The hanky?
The Homer hanky.
The Homer hanky. You even?
Do I have? I don't. I don't have.
You
one
don't keep one in your pocket.
No.
What a fake fan.
Yeah, I would keep my Homer hanky on me all the time.
I have it.
Yeah, right in my front
pocket.
pocket.
The wall in the garage bar. I'm sorry, that's not good enough. And then I don't.
Is it a Homer hanky to cry every time you have home runs hit against you guys?
Yes, that's what it's for. That's primarily what it's been for since 1991. Actually, it worked really well for that 1 year. I think they had it in '87 too. But after those 2 years,
I did almost get a Kirby Puckett jersey.
Yeah, we still love Kirby.
Recipes.
Yeah. Sure, I'm sure you do.
All right, JP.
I was a twin in majors in Little League.
You were,
and I was
I've seen that picture. What's a twin?
Like, what team am I on? God damn it! There could have been so many better teams, but then I embraced it so hard. I loved the uniforms.
And then Little Big League
was
came
great.
out.
I think that might have been.
It could have been
right at the same time.
It was like 94, 95.
You know, these jerseys
before then.
These Cubs jerseys always remind me of Rookie of the Year.
Oh yeah,
we were talking about that.
Yeah,
great movie.
Yeah, which is what I like. A little life hack tip for the parents out there: if you have no idea what stories to tell your kids at bedtime, just rehash like any little kid sports movie, but make your kid the main character. It's so easy.
Rookie of the Year
in ChatGPT.
No, I just tell her too. But I mean, you could do it in ChatGPT too. But I was just telling her the story tonight that she hurt her arm slipping on our back patio, and then. Instead of the Cubs, it was the Giants who came calling after watching her finally play in her first T-ball game.
Which is right around the corner.
Yeah, it's on Saturday.
Good luck to her.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
Yeah. She's one of those kids that's like every 15 minutes she gets bored of it and goes, I need to go talk to mom, and runs away from practice. And then she tells Annie that she needs water, wants a water break. So we'll see. We'll see how long baseball lasts in her lifetime.
Yeah. It's a fast-paced game. You know, there's not really any sitting around time.
Yeah.
Hey,
no time to daydream.
Speaking of baseball, Gary Payton threw out the first pitch at the Mariners game tonight.
That's cool.
And all but guaranteed NBA is coming back to Seattle. I don't know if you know something.
Yeah.
I think it will. I think it will. I think that's going to be the next, the next evolution of the NBA as they expand or grow will be returning to Seattle. I think they want to right that wrong.
Seattle and Las Vegas.
Yeah.
I could see both those. Yeah. But then who would move east?
Memphis, New Orleans, or Minnesota.
Yeah. True.
Memphis makes the most
Minnesota
geographic.
Minnesota's-
make way more sense.
Yeah. I was gonna say Minnesota's too far west. But don't try to get out of the West, Terry.
Our luck, we'd go to the East, and then it's like
The East
Steph would
just be
retire,
getting
LeBron
great.
would retire, and then somehow like all the power would shift to the Eastern Conference, and we'd be doomed to the plan again. But whatever. I do just want the Sonics back. That would be a thrill.
Yeah,
for everyone.
I agree.
All right, JP,
I'd
your
be torn.
fucking beer.
I already did it. You weren't here.
Yeah.
It's a starburst or a space dust, whatever you want
Whatever
it
I
to
want
be.
it to be. I want it to be a space burst.
Yeah, well, that's what I keep saying.
Oh, man. It's like you were listening to the conversation.
I wasn't. That's just how close we are. All right. Well, cheers
Cheers.
This is my beer for the beer segment.
to Gary Payton
Cheers.
throwing out the first pitch and still refusing
Dude,
to have his number
and
retired.
Gary
Fuck,
Payton second.
strike.
I
Strike.
did threw a strike.
Yeah.
Hey, Gary Payton
Right.
II, who's injured.
And to Gary
Cheers.
Payton
I know, he
second.
talked about that in a contract year.
When
Yeah,
did Gary
it
Payton
always
say
is.
these things? Was he on the mound with a microphone and be like, before I throw this pitch, first of all, the Sonics
curling his mouth.
Let me give you some commentary.
So
Ah,
talk
like
about
talking
my
out the side of his
son's
mouth.
injury and why this is bullshit.
Yeah,
That's-
he was in the box with the TV guys.
There you go.
After the first pitch.
Nice. And the glove's got to be able to do whatever the hell he wants in Seattle. We're like, hey, Gary, you want me to throw the first pitch? He's like, okay, but first, I want to talk to the crowd for 45 minutes on the mound. It's like, yeah, all right.
Yeah,
Why not?
Dude hasn't bought a drink in
Why
Seattle
not a
ever.
full hour? The 96 finals would have been different if George Karl had allowed Gary Payton to guard Michael Jordan one-on-one the whole time. That's what I'm throwing out there. I said it, MJ. I said it.
Yeah. Come find
Yeah,
us.
come on the
MJ.
pod, MJ.
Come
Let's
on
see
the
what you
pod.
gotta
Come
say.
on the pod, MJ. Do it.
Yeah.
Do it.
Oh, we should get him and Gary on the pod together.
That'd be dope. Yeah.
We should do it after Oregon State beats North Carolina in the College World Series again.
Yeah.
Oh,
It'd be like, you're so
And
good.
when-
You're so good. Why don't you play baseball for North Carolina and help them win a few of these College World Series that they haven't won, Jordan?
yeah. Do you think you would have
Yeah.
actually helped them, Michael? Because
Right.
I think you had a big hole in your swing, Michael.
Yeah. weren't so clutch in baseball, were
Yeah,
you,
remember
Michael?
when the news anchor in Space Jam said, baseball bat? Get this guy a tennis racket.
And that was based on reality,
That was-
damn it.
That was a documentary. That was the first documentary before The Last Dance.
The first swing.
The first swing.
That would be a great documentary.
I want to know whatever
right
happened
here,
to that guy who
Netflix.
lost his pants in the dice game to MJ.
He probably got more pants.
He probably
Maybe not.
I hope so.
He probably had a really tough walk home and then got more pants. That's what I would guess.
That was a very funny part
But
of that.
the story is
documentary.
never straightforward with MJ. That's what we know. It could have been crazy. UCF 76, Oregon State 75. The result
Speaking
of
of
a
crazy.
frustrating day. Oregon State's debut game in the college basketball crown, the soon-to-be most important of all the postseason tournaments in men's college hoops. The Golden Knights march on, and Oregon State's season, the 11th season in the era of Wayne Tinkle, comes to a close. Hard game to kind of really wrap your head around. The team has been off for, I think, 2.5 weeks since the last game. The transfer portal, of course, opened in that time. Michael Ratai, of course, jumped in that portal. He has now landed at Baylor. That was quick. Nate Kings, Parsifala, and DeJohn Craig. So the Beavs are playing a little shorthanded. I have a few overarching thoughts on this, so I'll get those off. I know this is going to turn into a classic. How do we fix men's basketball conversation? And I don't think we necessarily should push back on that.
I don't know if that's true.
But I thought the guys who showed up, it did not look like there was any rust, and they came out, they got off to a good start. They played well throughout. I found myself feeling fairly heartbroken for them at the end. I thought Leashes played fantastic. He had a season high 20. Maxim Logue played great. Season high 18 for him. I thought C looked really good. Minor controlled well. It was kind of, as a team, a few too many turnovers. The same story all year. And then also maybe the most
A lot of fouling.
dubiously timed timeout in Wayne Tinkle's career, which took a bucket by Minor off the board when there would have been 5.1 seconds left. And we would have had a 1-point lead. the points come off, and they did get a good look after that, but it did not fall. So I left this game thinking that this could be a tournament that sticks. Also, the guys who were there, I was pretty proud of, but gosh, this is just more of the goddamn same with this team. And I don't know a lot of teams, the passage of time cures the disappointment or the apathy that you're feeling. I don't know that there's anything that could really happen that will make me super stoked on opening night next November. It's the same old. It is, but I think I'm not even totally sure what that would be. So I guess we can, let's start a little bit. Jay, how did you feel about the game? Benny, I want to hear from you as well. And I'd say let's just start with the day a little bit, but then we can open it up to more big picture stuff.
Yeah, I think I'll be quick about the day. I mean, I was excited for the game. I was excited for this tournament. I thought that we stood a pretty decent chance prior to the portal opening and some of the moves that have occurred since. I thought that we still had a really, really decent squad of guys. I mean, decent in the sense of that guys had a lot of playing time experience, success this season that could still start and lead the team through this tournament. I thought that C maybe felt for a long time, what am I? Am I role guy? Am I a starter? Right? Like I came here, like everyone touted and hyped, and even a little bit the program itself touted like this guy is going to be a weapon through his recruitment process, let alone him coming here. And I don't think he really had that shot of a solid situation within the program. Today, obviously, he did, and I thought he played great. LT, that was his best game of the year. Yeah. Honestly, I think by far being the guy that we mostly leaned on. Then I thought that JoJo maybe was feeling the moment a little bit too much and was trying to like really will the Beavs to a victory. I thought he had a decent game, no doubt about it. Like he was, not far off from a triple double, but there were some moments where I thought like, slow it down. Like you'll get there. I hope he's back to continue to improve his game in a Beavers jersey. I thought Polo was pretty quiet early on. I wouldn't be surprised if UCF schemed for that on purpose, knowing that he was essentially the only true full-time starter that was going to be out there. But when it was coming down to it, I thought he was very scrappy and gave all out effort and also delivered, though it didn't count. But my last point, like just going through the players, Logue, phenomenal game.
Yeah.
And I know UCF was nearly as depleted, if not more, and they had guys even playing for them that were already in the portal. I mean, competition-wise, okay, I don't know how to size this up, but was this the outcome of his experience this season? Was it the limited playing time that he never got to showcase this? It makes me wonder what potential Logue has had, didn't fully demonstrate because of limited opportunity this season. But I would say of all of the guys that showed some positivity and upside, his was by far the biggest jump, by far. And because we look at him and you go, okay, that guy, when he's in there, he's got a lot of upside. He's got a lot of potential. I hope he gets to prove that out. And today he did have the opportunity, and today he also delivered on that. I think he, to me, was the most impactful player on the team today.
Yeah.
Did we win? No, but it was a hard fought game. It was a well played game for who we had and who they had. But yeah, Logue was maybe my MVP of the game.
I second that. I think Logue definitely caused the most excitement, or gave me the most excitement in this game. Sort of came out of nowhere. He had more points tonight than he's had in every single game since the beginning of February. Along with 10 boards, he shot incredibly well, 6 for 8 and 6 for 7 in free throws. He only had 2 fouls in 24 minutes. I think that's huge because that's what he's always struggled with, right? It's just like immediately racking up 3 fouls and being pulled out. But he did sort of put it all together. And I agree, JP. I think that the talent of the opponent has to be considered when making any sort of big leaps with Logie or generalizations. But we've said before on the pod, I believe, but certainly within, with each other, that Logie has so much potential. You can see it on the court. Like, in terms of potential, I think he is probably has the highest on the team, to be honest.
Yeah.
And so to see that potential sort of come to fruition today was exciting. And to be honest, like, to see if Logie stays at Oregon State, to see that he can put a game together like he did today is probably more exciting than like a run in this tournament. And I don't know if you guys agree with that, but like it really sets you up for next year.
No, I disagree. But I'll be clear why. Like, wanted to comment on us talking about Logie because we were all watching. He had a little spurt of playing time around the Pepperdine, Santa Clara, and then the Gonzaga game. Yeah. And then I was at the Santa Clara game and I was excited to see, because I'm like, okay, maybe he's broke the rotation. Like, he was pretty decent against Pepperdine. Like, he was clearly impactful and a force. And I had Santa Clara fans around me asking who the hell that guy was. Like, they saw in their first time watching him on the court that he could be an impact player. And then immediately after that Gonzaga game, his playing time returned to like sub 8 minutes a game.
That was the last game in January. Yeah.
So while I'm excited that he got playing time, while I think we all agree that that dude is a potential baller and is grown into a beast on the court, I'm not excited for next year. And I gotta say, I'm not excited for next year at all. This was a showcase game for LT, for JoJo, for Logie. This was their chance to shine.
That is what I'm worried about.
Get offers and to go somewhere else. If any of those three are back, I'll be shocked. And did they play as well as they did today because of that being on the horizon? Yeah, like maybe. I don't know. I don't know how to read college athletics anymore when it comes to the athlete themselves. It used to be like you could tell when a dude hated the rival, loved their school, would die for the school, or gal, whatever. I'm just like anybody. Like, you could tell at a certain point, but also we always in our deepest part of our hearts knew they had no other choice for their own benefits. So now these guys have choices. Did these guys ball out because they've started to like find something, or do they ball out because they knew, hey, if we lose today, this is my chance to put something on tape?
I do think it's
go to the portal and get a good deal.
I do think it's a little of both, which may be a generous reading of it.
I don't blame them for being both.
Yeah, sure. I don't blame them for that either.
But that's why I don't believe that I'm excited for next year until next year starts.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, that is a worry of mine. And now if they stay at Oregon State, I think that is a good core. Obviously, would have been great to have for a tie going into next year. I think that would have really generated some excitement. It would have. And I know, I don't know if we want to get into this now, but I'm just going to say it. Like, I know that Beaver Nation is wanting Tinkle gone, like they did the end of last season and the season before and whatever. I will say this. I think it's crazy that we came to Oregon State and Jay John was the coach. We went from Jay John,
and he just had made the NIT,
right? To Craig Robinson, to Wayne Tinkle. We've had 3 coaches since we were freshmen at Oregon State.
Oh, who was the interim coach after
Mouton?
What was his name? Mouton. Yeah.
But like 3 real like head coaches, right? That like worked on recruiting and bringing their teams
Mouton mania, baby. I was all about it. I thought maybe
that was the original Holland.
Yeah, I was buying all these interim coaches. I can't help myself.
I have to ask, and I think the question should be asked of how invested is Oregon State as a university and an athletic department in the men's basketball program. Yeah. Because if you stumble, I mean, let's be honest, the Elite Eight run was great. That wasn't a great season. We stumbled into the tournament. We found lightning in a bottle. And that's great. That shouldn't be taken away from Tinkle, but we also shouldn't pretend that that was a great season. We had one season where we had an at-large bid as, was it a 10 seed?
7.
And VCU was 7?
We were vice versa, yeah.
Okay. So we've had one season that was good enough to get into the NCAA tournament without winning the tournament, conference tournament. That is pretty wild to me that we've only had 3 that coaches have that long of a leash at Oregon State. And I know that Tinkle got the contract extension after the Elite Eight run, and you know, the money wise, it's tough to walk away from that. But it's, how do we only have 3 coaches? How have we only had 3 coaches since 2005?
I mean, the simple answer is that Jay John was from a great coaching tree. I mean, he was a Lute Olson assistant. So you hang on to that. Like, if you're Oregon State and you're trying to right the ship that's been sinking for the last 15 years, like, you hang on to that. And we hung on to that too long. I think Craig Robb was great recruiter, charismatic guy, helped revitalize the energy in the program, terrible coach. And maybe we hung on to that a little bit too long because of the window that was there with the players that he had brought in. I think with Tinkle, I don't know. I'm not defending Tinkle, but did Jay John face a pandemic? Did Jay John or Craig Robb get to an Elite Eight? Regardless of how many 21 seasons did either of them have?
I think
how many of them navigated?
Robb had 1, maybe, but I have to look at it.
How many of them navigated losing their conference? I think, and I hate to say this, I think that we do have to move on from Tinkle. I will preface that with, I think we will do worse.
I think that's true as well.
But it's not that we need to move on from Tinkle, that he's the problem. I think that we need to move on from Tinkle because this entire program, from not the coaches or assistants or everybody involved in the day-to-day of the program, the way the university, the way the athletic department, everything, the way that it's approaching the program itself needs an overhaul.
Yes.
It needs a clean slate. Like,
that's, yes.
And I think looking at it now, if we had not had historical success, if we did not have this historically long lull of success, if we did not have the crazy ups and downs of the recent success or lack thereof, there'd be a lot longer leash for what Tinkle has done. And because I think in most programs that are in the most recent era of college basketball have won as many games or tournament appearances or whatever as we have, we would be very lucky and very happy to have Tinkle and his staff. I don't think that there's any argument there, but we have historical context. We've tried a couple things. There is precedence of success at Oregon State. It was unlocked in an era that is different than now, sure, but there are teams that are blue blood, blue chip-esque programs in college basketball that have dealt with just as much when it comes to the things they can't control about recruiting to their school or keeping players at their school. We talked about this a little bit in our group chat. Like, the fact that there are little to no ex-gens involved with this program worries me.
Yeah.
And I don't, from talking to some of them, including Steve Johnson, who we had on the podcast, and he's been quite clear about how he thinks Oregon State got in this position and that it's going to be a tough thing to maneuver out of. But the fact that they are clearly still invested in Oregon State as a school that, one, at least reflects who they are, but two, because they care about the athletes that are there now and the fans that are still there. And they're not feeling involved at all in anything. There are millionaires that play college basketball at Oregon State. Are they donating to the collective? I don't blame them if they're not. I'm sure they have their reasons, and it seems like they do. Like, how do you fix it? And we asked Dashel this a couple years ago. We asked Steve Johnson this a couple months ago. How do you fix Oregon State men's basketball? I don't think you do without hitting blow it up, reset it all.
And you're right. You need an influx of money that comes into the program.
And you let as right or wrong as they might be. I'm not saying that all of our ex-athletes, one who had success in their playing careers or professional careers outside of basketball, dictate where the program goes, but you lean on them first. You let them feel invested again. Hey, what do you want us to do? Where do you want us to go? Like we're an open book. Go ahead, tell us. And if we need to get a player and you want to donate to our collective and help us, be in the conversations for them to come here, transfer here, or commit here, like if you're helping to drive, if you're in the driver's seat of like what direction the program is going, you might be more willing to consider that. And look, I'd rather a dumpster fire come from, hey, well, we gave all of the old heads a chance, not just a chance, but we gave them the opportunity to reconnect with the university, to tell us what kind of vision they think modern Oregon State men's basketball should go in. And they maybe try to put, their money where their mouth is, and not all money. Like I agree with Steve Johnson. Like we should be driving home to these athletes. The NBA is in everyone's future. It's not going to be your career. The odds are it's not going to be any of your careers. Not enough to sustain your livelihood until you retire. So maybe you should learn something in school first. Maybe you should get placed well for internships or put into programs for entrepreneurship or inventing products, whatever. I agree with that route, maybe more than I agree with NIL, to be totally honest. But like, we need people to be in the ears of players that are like, yeah, I've been there. I had success. I got lucky. It's a different era. Now here's what you need to do to prepare yourself. Do both of these things. Because that's what I would have done if I was in school in today's world. But we don't have any of those voices. So what does it take to bring them in? Does it take a clean slate? Fine. I'm all on board if we can bring in the people who care the most about Oregon State basketball, period.
And have lived its success. I think that's important too, because right now Oregon State is in such a state where like somebody who's 20 years old has only known losing basketball. I mean, shit, I'm almost 40 years old and I've only known losing I mean, I'm not old enough to remember Gary Payton playing for Oregon State, right?
None of us are.
Like I've really only known losing basketball. And to get people like Gary Payton, AC Green, Steve Johnson involved in the program, it sounds like Steve is fairly involved.
Trying to be.
We're going
to get Steve on again. He's down to come on again.
Is huge. Here's the other thing with NIL though, like NIL football, you need $20-25 million to be able to compete at the highest level in your NIL collective. Oregon State, unless Jensen jumps on the train, like that's probably not going to happen. Basketball is a lot different though. Like I think I heard St. John's was reported as having a collective of $4 million, and St. John's is a number 2 seed. So it doesn't take as much money to be a
well. How does St. John's do?
Well, but how did St. John's do this season? Right? Like St. John's did lose a tournament game early on, but I'm saying like in order to get like they're a number 2 seed and they have $4 million in their collective.
What I'm seeing is the final 4 teams are the 1 seeds and they're upwards of 20.
They're spending $20 million
on their roster. Collective. Yeah.
Holy shit. I did not know that.
But that doesn't mean that you can't still field a team that can go deep in the tournament and parlay that into
There's
more
quite a bit of
success.
ground to cover between where Oregon State is now and the one season
getting
in the
to
final
4 million, 5 million in a NIL and getting to the Sweet 16. Like, I agree with what you're saying, but I also wanted to point out that there is an issue with NIL and the transfer portal when you've got guys in their 6 years, making multiple millions in 1 year deals essentially with the collective.
It's messy and annoying like we described last week. And I don't think it's any clearer or less annoying today. And that would be different with a win against UCF today. I wish they had gotten it because they deserved it.
Maybe.
And it would have been fun.
I wish they would have gotten it. Yeah. But would it be any different? Are you guys not worried that Logue's going to transfer?
Oh, I'm worried that everyone's going to transfer. I'm literally worried about but not DeMarco Minor because he's out of eligibility. So I don't have.
Thank you, Polo. Thank you, Polo.
He was,
although I don't think he is.
That's what I'm saying. Thank you.
I don't think he's out of eligibility. I think he has one more year. Because I said that.
Didn't he play 4
I said that on
years
Twitter,
at
and I had
Edwardsville?
like 20 Beaver fans be like, "No, you're wrong." Like because of X, I forget if it was injury or COVID year. He has another year of eligibility.
All right. Well,
he might. He's only had 3 playing.
Okay,
no. How many JC seasons did he have?
If he has another year of eligibility, then I am worried about him transferring.
Well, he already did senior day.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that we're still like another 2 to 3 years further from the pandemic of like these, extra years of eligibility that make it hard. Where like people have like senior standing for 3. I think Hunter Dickinson just got granted another year. He's going to go into his 4th senior year next year in college basketball. So I am not sorry that we aren't exactly on top of it every time with the if Minor,
but that's what I'm saying.
If he has more eligibility, then to answer your question, JP, yes, I'm worried about everyone transferring.
I'm worried about everyone transferring, but I'm also mostly worried about building on a foundational or foundational players. I mean, it's just I like transfers.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Then what?
His dad played at Oregon State. He was a walk-on. Has a great story at Oregon State. And then it's like you're not safe from anyone leaving.
No.
Then So
here's what I'm worried about.
If you can't build off that, like the current state of the program is toast.
This is what I'm afraid of is Oregon State under Craig Robinson, Jay John was not able to compete on an even playing field in a Power 5 conference. And now to say it was an even playing field, like, yes, players did get paid under the table, and Oregon State probably wasn't at the top of the list of people that were giving out money.
But they had the same media rights deal. They had the same media rights deal that UCLA did.
And they weren't able to compete.
No.
And now you're at such a disadvantage. Interest in the program is low.
Probably pretty low. Yeah.
Wayne Tinkle.
What happens? If you don't do something drastic, like, and just go the same old, it's almost like you have to take a risk. It's like going back to Vegas. You have a 17 and
themed
the dealer is showing
nights.
The dealer's showing an ace. Like, it's almost like you hit it. It's probably going to be worse. You're probably going to bust, but you have to do something, or else the program's just going to go into the doldrums. And
when you can make the argument, it's been in the doldrums in most of these past seasons, and that would be another season that we're looking at. It would be a new low. It would be another one of those, just like the season's over. It's the 4th game.
Lower than we've seen.
Oh,
I mean, like we were losing to good competition. If you're just fucking bottom of the barrel of a shitty conference, no one's going to go to games.
It goes back to my point. I don't finger the blame on anybody currently involved in the program.
Agreed.
This is deep rooted, and it's failures from 30 years ago that are why we're not a sustained, successful program that we could have been and should have been. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't really know where to go now. I would love Tinkle and his staff to be around and build on something, because to be fair, like they have not had a chance truly in traditional college athletics sense to build a program. Doesn't mean that they should be granted the opportunity at this point to build a program in modern college athletics landscape, because they've had the opportunity. But if you strip out the portal and COVID and NIL and you look at what Tinkle and staff have done a couple times, including very surprisingly this year, and they did that when the transfer requirements were to sit out a year and NIL was under the table, less obvious to every player, but still obvious to the star players. Do you think he could have recruited a winner? I do, but the landscape has changed and we just need to start over.
The thing I'll say that I think is worthwhile to consider is a coach that was successful 5 years ago, 10 years ago, before NIL, could very possibly not be successful now, and vice versa. And I think that's where I couldn't even do it.
Like, right. Let's be honest.
Right. Well,
he retired solely because he didn't want to deal with this shit.
Coach K retired right before. I'm not saying that it was because of NIL, but it did happen to be right as NIL was taking off.
And Saban also said, "Yeah, like this whole thing's
stupid,
ridiculous. I don't want a part of it."
And I think that there are coaches that you're going to have to find coaches with a different skill set that are going to be successful in this day and age. And I don't think that you can say, well, it's been here for 3 years now, so like we've already like weeded the coaches out that are really good at this. That's not true. Like there are coaches out there that have the set of skills that just haven't been discovered yet that can be successful in this day and age.
And now it's a lot of a different experience, because players now know they can enter the portal and get something.
Right. So you have to not coach differently. You have to manage the team differently. And I think that it's harder for coaches that have been ingrained in as a coach in college basketball for a long time to be able to make that change. And I'm not saying you go out and just hire a young guy because they'll automatically know, but like there are coaches out there that you can find for the salary that Oregon State would be able to pay.
Find me an 80-year-old lady. I don't care. As long as they're retaining, as long as they're retaining the roster year over year, but that's not them. That's what I'm saying. That's not them. It is the collective,
because this is a thing that's been a conversation in college sports, and we've mentioned clean slate and starting over. Do you think it would make sense to blow it up and start not with a head coaching hire, but with a general manager of men's basketball hire?
Yes. 100%.
Yeah,
you have to start there. You have to start there, and then you let them build
and let Tinkle do more of the coaching. Is sort of how that would work out.
I'm saying I think
the general manager would hire the coach himself in that sense.
You shed it all.
This would be shed everything, and then you hope to find
nothing against the staff, the players, all the personnel. Like, this isn't a knock on anybody, and I don't. We've always talked about this. I don't want to call for somebody fired. Like, I'm not saying do it tomorrow, but like, I think the only way forward for Oregon State men's basketball to have a chance to regain the glory that it once had is to clear-cut, wipe away all that has occurred over the last 30 years. And then just like, eye over it, and bring somebody in that can build from scratch in this modern way, understanding the landscape, but also understanding where they can take advantage of the landscape to build enough of a sustainable program that the successful alumni of the past, whether that's in basketball or otherwise, again, want to be involved, help on the recruiting trail, help on the retention trail, help on the mentorship trail, help on the professional outside of basketball trail. And you just go, everything we've just been doing, clearly we aren't alone going in the wrong direction, because all of pretty much modern college basketball is going in the wrong direction. So we're just going to blow it up and start over. and just see if we're going to hitch our wagon to the right train, but we're bringing in the right people that we believe we could do so.
Give me a Rick Pitino type coach or a Rick Pitino type general manager. Someone who should have grabbed dirty.
Pitino when he was at his lowest is what we should. That's the gamble we should have made.
There were conversations, or at least there were rumblings of.
It would have been 3 years, but it would have been great.
It would have been so fun.
Yeah, it would have been so fun while it lasted.
Yeah,
I don't know if Rick Pitino has ever set foot in the Pacific Northwest, but it would have worked. And I'm just declaring that. We gotta go.
This is a great conversation. We need Sister Jean. Sister Jean should be our coach.
Oh, yeah, hell yeah. Just yelling out shit from a wheelchair.
She's not gonna hold it against us that we ended their run in 2021.
No, that's why she's coming to join the fun.
There you go.
It made more people pray. Yeah, she's happy.
I bet you, Sister Jean's a Bear Beaver believer.
Nice.
And on that, this has been the 178th episode of the Belligerent Beavs podcast. Sister Jean for GM is, I guess, what we're ending on here.
No, coach.
We want her as coach. Oh, we want God as the GM.
Gary Payton for GM.
I think Gary Payton would maybe take
Backup
the GM
choice,
role with a few conditions. I don't think Gary Payton's not coaching college basketball, but I think he would.
No, he'd be GM.
He's coaching basketball right now.
I don't think he's going to coach college basketball.
Sister Jean would coach.
Sister Jean would be the GM from on high,
and it'd only be because. If he didn't take it, then we would go for God to be the GM. But if Gary's there.
Glove over God. And if Glove's not available, God next. I think we're all okay with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bring me to Gloves country.
Bring me to Gloves country. That is perfect note to end on, Benny. So this has been the 100th episode of the Belligerent Beavs podcast. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for watching the college basketball crown. We did not take the crown home. But that's my fault. If we had been there,
if
the three of us had been there, there would have been maybe 103 people in the MGM Garden Arena and not just 100. And that would have been
there wasn't an only person screaming against UCF. So shout out to you, Beaver fan, or adopted Beaver fan. Thank you.
There you go.
Anti UCF fan. Yeah.
Oregon State did cover, so I hope that person made money off of it. So anyway, from all of us here at the Belligerent Beavs podcast, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for consuming this podcast, wherever you get your podcast. Please remember to subscribe, follow, rate, and review wherever you get your podcast. 5 stars helps grow the show a lot.
$100
and really goes a long way. JP will give you $100 if you do that and can prove it.
From Terry's wedding fund.
I cannot endorse that. I want her to say yes, so therefore I cannot say yes to that. But anyway, I can say yes to being back with another episode sometime from now, either next week or the week after, whenever. It's about to get very, very baseball heavy. Shout out Seam Headed, who we haven't done a read for yet this baseball season, and softball.
And Jim.
We're on the diamond. We got, big gym matchups coming up. Big gym.
Yeah, Friday.
I'm not talking about JP's dad, Jim. We're talking about college gymnastics.
Matchups.
Hey, Jim. Dad.
Hi, Dad.
I never really call him
Jim.
Dad. Call him Jim. Yeah.
Follow us at Belligerent Beavs on Twitter, at Belligerent Beavs, pretty much everywhere else. That's Facebook, YouTube, Blue Sky, MySpace, Friendster, LimeWire,
Red Note,
OnlyFans.
Go China.
That was Red Note, Red Card. What was it called?
It was Red Note. No, it was Red Note. Red Card is what you got in soccer too many times, Benny. Wait, give Red Note the red card, right? Yeah. And I would forget what I was going to say after that. Damn it.
You're a Terrence Horseman.
Joining me as always are my best friends from college, Benjamin Lawrence, Sebastian Wihage, aka Benny with the good quaff, aka Benny Bedlam, these fucking crazy folks, aka Benny Bolgame, aka Benny Blastoff, aka Benny Schnitzelhoff. I remember that from last week. This guy spends more time in the sand than David Hasselhoff. at Benny L1986 across social media channels, and the man steering
Social
the ship
meal
on the
channels.
ones and twos, keeping us pointed in the right
Socialist.
direction. JP Bertram
Socialist meal
at
channels.
the Trial J on Twitter. That's at the _Trial_J because he's too trial to be real. And at JP Bertram on Instagram. I'm Terry Horseman, so you can follow me for gosh darn sake at Terry Horseman on Twitter, Blue Sky, whatever, and at Terrence Horseman on Instagram.com. Hit us up on YouTube. Hit us up on our website, belligerentbeavs.com, belligerentbeavs.com/merch for all of your wardrobal needs. Tune in again. Keep cheering for the Beavs. Shout out DeMarco
Glove
Minor.
over God.
Glove over God. Shout out Isaiah C. Shout out Josiah Lake. Shout out Lataurus, Nina Vicious, and Maxim Logue, and all you guys who stuck it out and played today. You played your asses off and you deserve better.
Yeah.
And no matter that, no matter what they do, no matter what they say, no matter what they take away, remember that you cannot spell ChopEm without hope. So ChopEm.
Chop 'em.
Beavs back, baby.
Send us your theme night ideas.